プラスさん、見たことない人は多分いないと思うんですよね。そうですよね、面識はありませんが、いつもお世話になって
Necro has good stun
みんなだからあれですよ、プラスさんにあざーすって言わないと
on his throw.
ダメですよ。
And most of his hard normals.
さあここで先
And
頭
his super 3.
柴田さん対これ小野
And his
さん
spinning hook thing, I guess.
のヤンなんですが、多分お初にお目にかかりましてですね、今年始めたばっかりだと。
Another super? No. I don't even know if that works on Yang. Interesting wake up. 2 supers might have stunned. A frame perfect super will often combo after a successful super. Sometimes it only gets 2 hits. It depends on the character. I think it might be character specific in general. It also might be range specific. How much volume is the right amount? I can see that. It's probably audible. Dorai. I do any of my normal checks. Mic is on. A logo? Is this the logo for your little bullshit? Jesus Christ. Oh wait, that part. That part at the bottom. It's cool. And it stands for chaotic whatever the bullshit. Chaos Carolina. I like that Necro spamming that up back. Necro's dive kick is it utterly stops him when he does it. Like it doesn't matter what his previous jump arc was, he just like starts doing the dive kick, which makes it really good for spamming against command grabs. He has that as a little weapon against the likes of Hugo and Makoto. Carolina Chaos. That's a better name than Chaos Carolina. It looks pretty cool. As long as it's 2Cs though, I think it would be pretty good. Damn, that stunned. I thought it was gonna kill. Something oddly satisfying about stunning someone with a super that's already going to kill them, or an attack that's already going to kill them. Like you get the stun, then you get the kill. Hugo's Super 3 does okay stun. It does like about 20%. Not even. But I remember when I played Hugo, I would often get a stun, and then the super would just kill before I could even do the stun follow-up. Background house for the throw invincibility. Even though you don't get a whole bunch of damage after that stun, it still feels like you really outplayed your opponent. Oh. Alan is in charge of punishing. I know he was just going for momentum, but he didn't expect a hit. So he actually fucked over his own dizzy. And burn bar, he didn't need the burn. I guess he would have needed to probably burn the bar to kill anyway, right? Because like Elena's max damage without bar is pretty bad. It's like low strong into uppercut. Elena gets nice returns for 1 meter, especially in the corner. Oh yes! That does a fuck ton of stun. That did like 60%. If you get an anti-air EX mallet, you can get juggles, and you can actually juggle several EX mallets. Uh-oh. This is death. In fact, on some characters, she can do first and second hit of EX. No, I think it has to always be just starting with first. First hit EX mallet, first hit EX mallet, first hit EX mallet, first and second hit EX mallet. That might work on everyone, actually, depending on the height that you connect. It's really specific, though. You just need to do EX mallet raw and just kind of hope that it gets that kind of anti-air connect. Fortunately, it's got a really good hitbox. But if you get that, and if you have the really nice timing that you can get a bunch of them, you can get touch of stuns on some characters. Or just like a shit ton of stun on other characters. This should dizzy. Oh, he did the wrong follow-up, I think. I think another EX mallet would have worked there. Elena is basically low tier because she has really, really bad punishes in a game where punishes happen all the time. She is like mid. She's like low mid. She's like on the bottom end of mid. She's not actually like a low tier. She's got a nice car throw and okay footsies. But Elena gets like some of the least damage in the game off a parry, for example. Would be a good sample of why she's not incredible. It's like most characters, like if Ken gets a parry, he gets like Stand Strong, Stand Fierce, EX Fireball for like good damage. Stand Strong, Stand Fierce, DP, DP. Even like other low tiers, if like Hugo gets a parry, he gets an SPD. If Alex gets a parry, he gets like a command grab or Fierce Flash Chop or, you know, something. Stand Medium Kick into EX Chop. Stand Medium Kick into Light Chop is even okay damage. Elena, if she's close and you're really on the ball, you can get low strong into an uppercut or low strong into an EX spin scythe. Although oftentimes there might be like some command overlap if you just were holding back or something like that. Generally, Elena gets a punish and then she just gets a poke. She parries and then like she sweeps you. Or like if you have a super, you can do low strong into super, but that's still very mediocre. Like that's still only about as good as like half the cast is, and you can't even do that if you pick healing, which is arguably her best super for what it's worth. Nice punish. See that? Look at all that damage that Alex is getting. Is your EX mouse smash punish him on block? I think it's character specific. Damn, is that a resub? I think it depends on I think it's generally punishable, but I think it depends on range and the opposing character's punishes. I can't say I block that many of them though. Any attack in this game, a lot of them I like don't remember if they're punishable until I block one, then I like gauge the distance and I'm like, oh yeah, I can punish that. Normal spin scythe is a bit. Oh wait, hold on, mallet smash. I was reading that like spin scythe. Timeout. Wait, let me change the entire question. EX mallet smash now. It might be by like some supers. Conventionally, most characters can't punish it, but like Ken Super 3 might punish it. But it doesn't really matter how punishable it is on block because like it's a reaction parry. I mean, it does matter because you're not always going to be ready. But just for the record, if you ever see a mallet smash at all in this game, you can just double tap forward and just destroy it, and you get a ton of damage. You get a huge punish. Flora's playing like a nut. EX mallet smash is it's even if you parry it midair though, the parry timing will be extremely inconsistent midair. Like you'll always have to parry at the same time if you're grounded. It'll always be the exact same dot dot. But this is death. There's like no living. If it hits midair, you basically have no idea. It's hard to react to because it hits earlier, because it hits you while you're midair. And you basically have no idea when it's going to connect, because it might be really early and it might be really late. That was nice. That was good pressure. And then you won't necessarily get, like sometimes you'll, like in order to get a punish after your parry, you'll have to hit your attack button really early in your jump. And if you hit your button really early in your jump, you won't necessarily be able to combo after landing. So basically it's really hard to punish most of the time. But, especially because it's pretty fast, that could have been a much bigger punish. No juggle there. Only juggle at first and only. Covers the car throw. Looked like he got a stomp the first time and then the same stomp on the second. Alex fucking sucks. I think if he did super jump into early jump fierce, he actually would have hit Aura before hitting the orb. He would have landed on the orb, but if he hit Aura first, it didn't matter. The down fierce was actually really smart. It's a shame that Aura is so tiny. He was in a really bad situation after that. Like, he shouldn't have jumped, but I think he'd already jumped by the super freeze. The correct play was to, like, EX stomp post super freeze, or just regular stomp. Can you parry Alex's back card punch? No. It's unsafe on block, though. But, like, it destroys people going for... The thing about that that's kind of good is that you can do back fierce, and not only does it smash all parry attempts and, you know, stuff reversals, but it also is unsafe, so people really want to block. So if you show the opponent that you wanna do meaty back fierce, then they're gonna start going for wake up block like pretty reliably. And you know, if the opponent's waking up blocking, you've got your nice overhead, you've got your car throw, you've got your SPD. Alex has some nice options to blow that up compared to most characters. So he can introduce this risk into his game, but it's got really good. It incentivizes really good behavior from the opponent, even though it's like risky to do. It baits the opponent into doing stuff that you can exploit. Classic grappler. Some parts of Alex's design are pretty cool, even though I would say he's one of the worst designed characters in the game. The actual worst designed character in the game, all failed to confirm, is almost certainly he can kill here. Oh, what the fuck? Alright, this is still good for him. Very nice. Oh, okay, no, that was smart. At first I thought that was a horrible error, but then I saw it was going to stun. Ooh, he went for the kill instead of the... Okay. Or actually has that same mix-up with his hit grab, command grab. And Ibuki has it too, but Ibuki has one very important difference from the other two, is that hers are safe. Her hit grab is actually safe on block and unparryable, which means that it really forces the opponent's hand. It's very hard to wake up blocking against Ibuki because she could just do meaty Raida, or very hard not to wake up blocking. Is that medium punch to command grab? That's so gimmicky. You shouldn't even be hitting a button that early after stand medium punch anyway. That should only be a factor if like you're trying to parry it, but even then it's like super gimmicky, because you can parry one hit of stand medium punch and hit like certain buttons, lights and mediums, and like hit before the command grab would connect. Nice. Unfortunately that super does crap damage in juggles. Unfortunately that super is not very strong in general. Remy is mediocre. Nice EX stomp. That's a pretty easy parry, it's just like that. But, and you get a nice punish on it if you parry it. Or it still bounces off you even if you parry, so you have to like do... Remy could just dash and get there in time. Any character could dash and get there in time, I think. Remy could also do jump back, like super jump back fierce, I think, and get the air juggle. But getting him on the ground would be better. Try and parry the second hit. I mean, technically speaking, that can work, but it like never works. People never parry my stand strong. The only time they ever parried is if it's like an anti-air one and they jumped over me. I think he had a kill there somehow. EX tackle is really specific on aura mid-screen though. In fact, it might not work at all. Maybe 2 EX headbutts or something weird like that. That should have been neutral jump parry from Aura, which is what it looked like it was. Aura's got really good options against someone going for air parries like that, because he can air throw them and he can also jump fierce them and jump fierce his 2 parries. Ooh, very nice. Oh, he's going for the unblockables. Yeah, that's unblockable. On tall characters. It's unblockable on everyone. You have better ways to land it and better follow-ups on tall characters. This is very difficult to get out of, yeah. He had to get 2 50-50s right in order to come out of that alive. While the mirror hits are still connecting, Urian has time for 2 loser overheads. It's not truly a 50-50 because Urian's overheads are reactable, but Urian has 3 overheads. And the universal overhead is quite hard to react to. Oh, that's unfortunate. Urian's punishes are really bad for that. His best punishes stand strong at the EX headbutt, which is a launcher, but it requires meter, and it also requires you to do a standing move cancel to a flash kick motion, which is of course obnoxious. It also doesn't have the greatest conversions mid-screen. Ooh. That looked like Urian blocked and then went for an aggressive parry. That was a really good delay. Ken Super 3 on block. It's not really minus. It's like fast enough that either Urian's Crouch Fierce doesn't punish, or punishes on like a near frame perfect window. Very nice. He lucked out with that one, I think. It's like it's in the territory of -10. Ken Super 3. I've missed Stand Strong as a punish on it before, and Stand Strong is like 5 or 6 frames for Moro. I think 5. So it's probably somewhere in the realm of -8. I'm not 100% sure on that though. It's like a kind of small window though. It's annoyingly small to punish. I guess in their heads they were just like, well, it's not a very rewarding super, so it shouldn't be very punishable either, which kind of makes sense. It isn't a very rewarding super, honestly. It's not that bad to eat that super. What's up, RJ? Like, the super is really good because of what it lets it convert him out of, but that's the only reason the super is good, and also that it has lots of EX. But like, Ken doesn't use EX DP almost ever, and Ken doesn't use ground EX Tatsu almost ever, so it's pretty much entirely used for EX Hado and EX Air Tatsu. And EX Air Tatsu is like EX Hado is kind of situational. You don't usually you use it in most every matchup, like sometimes. Not doing fireballs is not a super bad thing, especially in this game. Urian's fireball is one of the best fireballs in the game, but Urian's like light fireball is not very good. It's like okay, it exists. It's not useless, but like it doesn't really control space very well. Urian's medium and hard fireball are both quite good, but like they're going to be more or less useful on depending on which character you're fighting. There are certain characters that jump a lot, and there are certain characters that don't jump at all. If you're like a Urian fighting a Ken, you don't really have to worry about Ken jumping most of the time, unless he's trying to coward copter out of the corner with like an EX Tatsu, because there's a mirror in front of him. And even then, the chances of your fireball actually hitting the coward copter are not that good. Looked like a red parry attempt. Or maybe he just didn't react the side properly. I think I basically, the only reason I don't play on consoles anymore is because you have to pay for online. Oh, he missed the confirm. That's one of Ken's easier confirms. I think it's more than one frame, that is. That looked like a overhead connecting on a standing opponent, but I think he didn't have meter anyway. Nice confirm. Meaty jumps are normally really bad in this game because they're free parries, but that cross up after DP or post Super 3 from Ken is very difficult to parry because he crosses up like only a couple frames before he hits you. 1 or 2. So it's going to be a 1 or 2 frame parry versus a guaranteed escape if you block. Alex had a juggle with Towards Fierce there. That's a really unusual scenario. Also, that was a low parry into stay medium kick OS. Unfortunately, didn't pay off for it. That was weird that Ken just did that and it worked. He didn't confirm that. Very unusual. Alex is pretty cool. Ah, feels like Street Fighter 5. Well spaced shoulders. Pretty sure Ken with Super 3 can punish a shoulder with Super. Pretty sure. They're supposed to be safe. But Ken Super 3 is dumb. Oh, that Towards Strong is such a good normal. Very nice. No punish. The ground Tatsu was free, I think. Unless there's some quirk to it. Oof. God, I've made that decision before. I can either eat or have something. Fortunately, I'm overweight, so it's an easy decision for me. Was that a punish? Yeah, it looked like it. He didn't even get reversal. Tried to punish with a stay medium kick. Difficult scenario right now. Jump back roundhouse. Really cool. Alex is tall, and thus you don't need fuzzy guard to get a lot of instant overheads on him. Ooh. Pretty good punish. Good back dashes there. Is he Tominaga? Oh shit, he is Tominaga. That's quite hard to do. He went for the most baby of baby combos and actually missed out on the kill. Didn't matter that time. Generally won't matter. But like, goddamn, stand fierce into fierce dash punch would have built more meter and it would have like actually killed Ken. Oh my lord, he could win right here. No, he doesn't have enough bar. He can only almost win. He dropped it anyway. He needed the reset, like, no matter what. He needs more meter. That wasn't that bad at the end of the day. He would have had another super meter in the next round, but could have been a lot worse. Nice DP. I think he had another DP there. I don't know. She was really far away. He went for stay medium kick, which is a nice little juggling normal for Ken. Has a really high upward hitbox, comes out really far, goes really far forward. This won't kill. Makoto doesn't get great returns in the corner with Super 2. Oh, oh, goodness. Really risky from the Ken's part. Nice. Caught him trying to hold up. Ante no deban ya. Ante is a funny way of saying Anada. Deban means coming number. No indicates possession. Anada is you. Coming number. Possessed by you. Your turn's coming up. It's your turn. That's what she says. You're up. That's what Poison says. It's you. Imagine if they made like an HD. Imagine, not an HD necessarily, but imagine if they made Street Fighter 3.4. I feel like it's basically guaranteed that Poison would be playable in it. Of all the characters they could add to this game. Like, they already have the fucking A sprite for Poison. I feel like just starting with that sprite and just working onwards would be very easy. What characters would they have in this game if they ever remade it? I feel like Colleen has a very good shot if they ever make a 3.4. I mean, it depends on how Colleen turns out in Street Fighter 5, but I feel like she's got a very good shot. Odawa is just I. It's very masculine. It's very casual. It's somewhat crude even. But it's just, it's I. It's a lead-in. Like, I think. Like, I don't know. It's just, you're the subject. According to me. I don't know. There's a million things you could start with I. Ore is me. Wa indicates the subject. With this HSF2, I'm just thinking about like what would they do with this game if they HSF3'd it?
しいんですよ。俺もたまにミスるからあれ。
So the fireballs are still good in this game. Poison could work. He needs to parry. Nice. No! No! He should have kept parrying. He should have parried, too. The block was good. The red parry was superb. But he just SPD'd. It should have been, block, red parry, and then hard clap to interrupt the final hit. And then, medium clap super. Or whatever. Hard clap, light clap super. Whatever the Hugo combo is. That was the correct play. He like totally blended that. It was a really nice red parry too. The blue parry after the red parry is very easy. The red parry is the hard part. He got the hard part. But then he did something that like he wasn't even going for the next parry. That reminds me that I have Alien Isolation, haven't put it in yet. I've been meaning to play that game forever, but I need the right spooky atmosphere. That sort of thing only comes around like once a month. And I've got other spooky games I've been playing, and other spooky movies I've been watching, such that I haven't even played it yet. He tried to go for the really deep DP that lets him get close. You can just DP immediately there and always get a DP to connect, but if you walk in, you'll more likely get a DP that actually does like the full connect damage, and also a DP that you could potentially follow up with another car DP if you can do those. I like games where you can't kill thing, like Resident Evil 3. I like that mechanic in general. I like being chased by thing that you can't kill. I liked the Ustanak in Resident Evil 6. I liked the Dahaka and Warrior Within. I probably won't even stream it. I guess I'll play it on hard though. I'm not afraid. I feel like Pyramid Head is ridiculously underutilized, even though I feel like he should only have been in one game. Pyramid Head only appears like 3 times in all of Silent Hill 2. 4, I think. He throws you off the roof of the hospital. He stabs Maria. You have a brief boss fight with him. He's the penultimate boss of the game. And also technically you can find him while going through the underground, near the room where you can get his knife. So that's like 5 appearances, I think, in the entire game. I think if he was randomly roaming, that would have been kind of cool. I haven't actually gotten that far in Dark Souls before. I started doing a playthrough of it, and then that was right before my hard drive fried, and I lost all my data, and I didn't want to restart. And ever since then, I just haven't played it that much. While playing it, I found it a little tedious, to be honest. Probably gets better as you go. This Q is Takahashi. He's a good Q player, but not like anywhere near Kuroda. But he's like one of the better Qs I've seen. He's probably like the 5th or 6th best Q I've seen. But there's still like a clear like the top 3 Qs are so much better than like all other Qs. Out is an extremely good Q. Kuroda is an extremely good Q. There's like another really big one. Who is it? This footage is from 2016, from June of 2016. It's like relatively new in the grand scope of Third Strike. Kuroda's, yeah. Kuroda has extremely good punishes and extremely good parries. And he's got a very lame playstyle. And this game actually, it looks a lot like it rewards offense. But the thing it actually rewards the most is inaction for most of the cast. Almost any means you use to attack the opponent is a way that you're opening yourself up. And at the very, very, very highest level of the game, doing the least like stuff that opens you up. Remember when I was fighting AC Slayer pretty recently? he was playing Yun, and his footsies against me were basically run away, whiff low strong, only approaching Ganejin, and then every now and then he would do like a towards fierce or like a jump in dive kick or like a shoulder. And shoulder's safe on block and towards fierce is safe on block. And random dive kicks are safe on block and also have nice returns. But all of those things, like I got the vast majority of my damage by parrying those things. So like if he was only running away and whiffing low strong, he would have done even better than me, even better against me than what he was doing. Like if I got every time I ate a shoulder, I ate like, you know, like a tenth of my health, not even. Every time I parried a shoulder, I did like 70% damage, like 50% damage. And it's like I was parrying like half of all shoulders he did. It was just like if you weren't doing this, you would be so much better off. Even though that's one of the safest ways Yun can really act. You see at the very, very highest level of play, especially with the top tiers, you'll see like Ken get away and whiff low strong and only like approach when the mix-up is heavily in his favor. You'll see Chun-Li like run away and whiff low forward and back fierce and like only really push a 50-50 if she's got the super. Well, not necessarily, but you know. Or like go for a lot of car grabs, which are generally unpunishable even if they're predicted properly. Even if you tech a car throw, it's not that bad. You can get wrecked if your opponent abused unreactable mix-ups, but that's not the end of it. Because the thing is, like, well, I mean, the first question is what's really unreactable in this game. That's kind of an interesting question in and of itself. But look at this scenario, okay? Let's not Ken, but like, let's say I'm, who's like a solid mate? Ryu. Let's say I'm Ryu, okay? If I do low forward, let's assume a Ryu mirror. If I do low forward, and it hits, I don't get anything. Like if I cancel the EX Fireball, then the EX Fireball hits. But I can't just cancel the super willy-nilly because I'll be really punishable. But if my opponent parries a low forward, he can do his own low forward into super. If I'm Ryu and I do the other side of that mix-up, I do towards strong. If my towards strong works, I get the damage of a towards strong. But if I'm predicted, I get a I eat like a stand fierce into a super. Crouch fierce EX donkey kick, something like that. I eat like a ton of damage. The thing is, parries are hit confirms, and also they happen in times when your opponent, like when you, the player on offense, doesn't necessarily get a hit confirm. So like attacking at all, like yeah, if you get your mix-ups right, then you get damage. But like the mix-up is at the highest level of play for an opponent who has meter. The mix-up is like every action you do, if the opponent predicts right, it's a hit confirm for them, even if your attacks aren't hit confirms. It's one of the reasons Dudley and Ken are really good, is because they're like weak stuff. The sides of their mix-up are in and of themselves hit confirms. They still get good damage even without knowing their stuff is gonna hit, because they can just react from both sides of the mix-up. Of course, there's a bit of a meta around, you know, you don't know when the opponent's going to attack. So getting the parry timing right is a thing. But it's very easy to, like, option select the parry and then just go back. Look at that. That shoulder wouldn't have even killed Elena, I don't think. Or it might have, like, just killed her. But she parried it, so she actually got, like, she made a giant comeback. It was been really hard for Elena to actually confirm a super. But, like, Yun, by acting, gave her a hit confirm. That's unfortunate. You see what I'm talking about? Inaction is very strong at the very highest echelon of third strike. And if you look at Kuroda's gameplay, he is incredibly passive. Kuroda doesn't do anything. Kuroda just waits and watches. Kuroda and MOV are both a lot like that. 5 beanie sweeps in a row. Mix-ups can work. It's just that it's an invitation for a mix-up that's not like necessarily in your favor. If Oro gets a sweep, he gets like 5%. If Oro gets a sweep parried, he eats anywhere from like 15 to like 50. Now the opponent won't necessarily parry 50% of all your sweeps, or even 33% of all your sweeps. But you know, you can see the ratio has to be pretty insane in order to pay off sweep. This is not that bad of a matchup before anyone says YSB always gets bad matchups. It's bad, but it's not that bad. It's only like 6'4", 7'3". Probably 6.5, 3.5. Probably somewhere in that territory. It's worse than most modern fighting game matchups, but it's still not that bad. Full screen, so he does the lariat. Dash in into shoot down is such a hard read. I really like that. Conditioning your opponent is still a really big deal. That still pays off a lot. Ultimately, though, a lot of mix-ups are just very random. People in this game get, as they level up, they realize like what the mix-up is and what the mix-up you're trying to push is. It's like just even by doing like 2 sweeps in a row, let's say, they suddenly understand that you're gonna be able to mix up between sweep into sweep overhead or sweep sweep, and then they'll just try and be random. I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of third strike at the high level. Unfortunately, the only character I play, it's not like I'm playing him at his highest echelon. There's still more to Oro than what I'm using. But a lot of the stuff I know a lot about, I don't really know how to actually use. Oro's not really the kind of character where he gets like, I don't know, Oro's low overhead mix-up is not super dangerous. He does get a lot of returns off of a parry, more than pretty much everyone. But it depends on the parry. Oro can't really parry into super. He can parry into stand strong into super if he has super like that. Ooh, unfortunate. But if he's outside the range of close stand strong, like super is basically not a follow-up for parry. Which means Oro can't really play the normal Street Fighter 3 game of like parry into punish. Or like it's very weak. If Oro gets that kind of parry, he just gets a roundhouse or a sweep or a command grab. Which is lower than most of the cast. Fatal says Ryu has Oki after his sweep. Set up recovery, medium punch meaty, you dash once after sweep, but in training mode I never seem to recover fast enough to meaty. Is FA tool just outdated? Possibly. I don't know the current state of Ryu's, not since Season 2. I don't know the current state of Ryu's meaties. I know all of his meaties off of, like, forward throw got nerfed to shit, which seems really unwarranted to me. I remember he had some other meaties that were nerfed, I think, off of DP and sweep. Very tricky. That's a 50-50. It's actually even hard to see Oro as he attacks, too. To make it that much harder. The overhead is really slow. That one. He's better off using low short or universal overhead. Which game? This game or Street Fighter 5? I'm not great at Street Fighter 5. I'm like better than the normal person, but I'm not like tournament winning or anything like that. I'm just slightly good. I might have like a higher standard of slightly good than you guys. I'm like high enough to like probably never go 0-2 at like almost any event. This is like some kind of fucking really big invitational or low number kind of participants kind of thing. Only 32 people were there and they're the best players in the fucking state. Unless I get a really bad bracket roll. Unless like someone really good, someone better than me, also loses first round and then gets matched against me. But most people better than me either won't lose first round, or there's enough of them, or there's few enough of them that, like, you know, I probably won't get matched on them. You know what I mean. But not going 0-2 is like just better than, like, you know, it's being in the top 75% of players, which is not much of an achievement. Well, never going 0-2 is a bit different than not going 0-2 once. I like that juggle, that was optimal. I played Apocalypse in Street Fighter 5 recently, and in Third Strike as well, actually. Well, I'm like solidly better than the plat for what it's worth. Well, I mean, I might still be a plat. Like at the end of the day, it might be like ultra plat or whatever. But like every plat I ever fight, it's just like, wow, I'm like cleanly better than this guy. I still get beat by most of the diamonds I know, though. But not all of them, but most of them. That's a really awkward setup. That's the easiest possible, like, parry escape. What's he going for? Kuroda? He did it kind of badly because the super was so light. He, like, salvaged it the best he could, but it was still bad. Alright, this is the correct setup. I really don't like that setup! That is the absolute easiest way to parry out. There's no ambiguity on the first parry. It's always a parry to the left in that setup. It's never like parry right then left, or like you don't have to parry down or anything to like situate. I do not like that setup at all. It's always, or is always better off using an angled double jump, or no double jump if he can do that. That makes it really difficult to parry. And since the only escape is parrying, you know, that's kind of a big deal. With shadows, you can use the medium super, but you can't cross the map in the corner, so you have to have a nice, good mid-screen position. But you like don't ever need to use light super against shadows. And then the setup I do is dash dash slight back walk, and then I think forward dump jump jump. It was an okay Ibuki. It reminded me of my Ibuki like a couple months ago. It reminded me of Ibuki when I picked her up. You like made like a couple of errors that were just like ha, like the like I think low strong into like the hard EX kunai that shot way past me. It's just like, oh yeah, I used to do that a lot. I think we only did that like once though, but like there were little things like that. Ibuki is right about where she needs to be. Guile could stand like 2 nerfs. Urien could stand like 2 nerfs. They're like already fine. I'm gonna be that guy who says the Guile and Urien and Ibuki are fine. The problem is characters like Ryu and Kami, who, I mean, not that I think that Ryu is not. Well, I do think Ryu is kind of bad. Not that I think Kami is bad, but I feel like she needs like a. She needs something. She needs some new things to play with. How do you do light EX kunai on pad? I just hit like light punch and medium punch together. I put my thumb between the buttons and I just like push down. It sounds strange, but I'm pretty good at it. Kami might be top tier, but she still needs some new stuff to play with. I think the things Kami has should get nerfed, and then also she should get new things. If anything, I think she should go up. She should have like a net buff. But the problem is, yeah, she's very robotic. She's a very robotic character. Or like Ryu is a very robotic character. There's basically like there's very few ways to like really style with Ryu. Not style necessarily, but to be unpredictable, to be wild. It's very hard to show off Ryu depth. It's very hard to like pull something out against Ryu that like no one's seen before. Oh, he dropped it. He tried to back up a little bit. He wanted to get the super to be able to connect more easily. I saw that. I saw that exact play. You can always just, yeah, this is potentially really bad advice, but like, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You can always bind, I like that setup. Ooh, reversal headbutt. You can always bind Ibuki's medium punch as light punch medium punch. Because Ibuki basically never uses the medium version of any of her special moves. Like, you never use medium Raida, you never use medium, what else does she even have? Medium kunai. Does she even have another punch move? And if you just hit medium plus light, like that macro, it'll just give you a medium punch most of the time. For like all her target combos and stuff like that. So you can do like, say, crouch, then the macro, like medium plus light. And then it'll give you a crouch medium punch, and then you do quarter circle forward from that, and then the same button, and it'll give you a light EX kunai. Anyway, if execution's a huge issue, you could just do that. Nice setups. Makoto has a very, very slow wake-up time, and she also tends to bounce twice off of the orb, and if she bounces twice off the orb, you basically can't get a meaty orb because of how slow her wake-up is. So you've got to use light orb against her. Which is problematic because you have to have a lot of screen position in order to follow light orb in without cornering her. You basically need to be cornered when you land your unblockable setup. Which is problematic because you won't often be. Wow, I can't believe he blocked that. Any human would have taken the throw there, I thought. Very hard for Oro to win at that point. The setup for Makoto is forward dash, slightly carrying her body, like you push her body a little bit. Oh, this is pretty good. Is he gonna do level 3? He's doing level 1. Level 3 would have been okay there. Oh, now level 3 is actually good. He doesn't have the meter. This is a neat setup. That's like a second impact combo. You didn't have the unblockables, or maybe you had the unblockables, I don't actually know. But in second impact you couldn't do chicken combo, so that was like how you were intended to use the Super 2. And I guess New Generation as well, but I never played New Generation. You do like a super and then fucking, you know, follow the super in and get hits with the super and then, like, you know, potentially combo into another super. It was dumb. Second impact was a weird game. A level 3 booger, yes. It is the Yagyo Odama. It's the sun. Oro throws the sun. I guess this video's over, huh? Let's do another. Let's do another 2. Oro has an EX version of all supers. For Super 1 and Super 3, they're both 1 bar, so the EX Super and the regular Super cost the same amount. And for that reason, there's reasons to use either the normal or the EX. I would say that for Super 2, the EX Super is plainly better than the regular Super, but that's discounting unblockables. Even with the unblockables, I think the EX Super would be better, but the fact that the unblockable loops to itself is what really makes the regular booger better. Oro has okay EX too, so all that meter it gives him is pretty nice. So burning all 3 of your bars at once is kind of a pain. But it's the most damage Super 2 Oro can do in 1 hit, so it definitely has a niche. It's okay to do the sun sometimes. Sometimes it's the correct play. Like if you get if you do your full combo into and out of Yagyo Odama, it does somewhere in the realm of 50% on most characters. Because you can do, it resets the juggle potential when it hits, so you can do like 5 hits of chicken, sun, 6 hits of chicken. That whole thing ends up doing like 50%. So like Oro's normal max damage with Super 2 is somewhere in the realm of like whatever chicken combo does with your ender, which is like, you know, 20-30%, somewhere in that territory. I like Grey Life a lot. More defensive mechanics, I think, is the correct way to do it. What a fucking match. It's a judgment. Effie, which one does she like? The one Effie votes for will not necessarily win. God, they had the same fucking health. Chicken combo is that combo Oro does where he hits you into the air and then stomps on you. It builds a lot of meter. It's Oro's like bread and butter. I haven't seen a judgment in this game in ages. You only get judgments if there's an exact tie in health, which like never happens, or if there's a double KO on like third round, which also never happens. That's pretty funny though. If Necro is one of the characters, Effie will occasionally pop in. Not always, only occasionally, and vote for Necro, but she can still get outvoted. Necro doesn't have like an increased rate of winning judgments, I don't think. Ken's wife. I'm not 100% sure that Ken's wife is one of the girls. Fun fact. One of the judgment girls I'm pretty sure is Helen, who is now confirmed to be Colleen. One of the judgment girls is a little Russian girl in a Yushenka. And big old mittens. And a furry coat. Dude, please let this go to another judgment. Nice parry. Yes, lean it out. Oh my god. Okay. Didn't even die. All the judgment girls have names. I don't remember the last time I saw them. There's 3 that are identical triplets. They're all Chinese. They all wear slightly different dresses. I don't think you can get all 3 of them at once. There's a British one with a riding crop. How are the S2 videos going? Which ones? Oh, the remakes? Oh shit, I've been putting that off until I finish the Rising Up, which is nearly done. And by nearly done, I mean half scripted. Yeah, I definitely feel more defensive options is the correct way to do it. I like the white health a lot, because it gives characters who aren't really mix-up heavy a way to do damage. It makes it so getting the opponent to block is still a victory in and of itself, which I like. It also makes pressure a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to not read the opponent, but it makes the opponent a little bit easier to play around because they're more happy to settle for a block string. The chances of getting reset are like slightly lower. And it also makes characters like Bison who don't really have great mix-ups, it makes them a lot better. I like what Grey Health does a lot, it's just you need another escape. Yeah, that's what I was thinking at this point. It was just like, well, you know, there's going to be a Colleen patch. I think that there probably won't be near as many changes as there were during the first Season 2 patch. But I still want to wait on it. I feel like reversal options, I feel like there aren't enough reversal options. I think every character should have like 2 reversals that have like different functions. That would be a good start. Like, it was like Ryu has exactly 1 reversal, which was medium DP. I mean, technically he could do EX DP as well, which, you know, does basically the same thing. And Super as well, which is just more risky and less likely to work. But let's say if like Ryu's Tatsu as a reversal was like Airborne Frame 1, so it like dodge throws, and his reversal DP like beat throws and like beat attacks, but like, you know, it was a lot more unsafe than reversal Tatsu. Like if every character had like 2 potential reversals they could use, I feel like that would be really nice. And like if one of them, they'd have like a risk reward. It's like, well, DP actually does damage. But like let's say Fang could use EX Sotoja as a reversal, but he could also use the EX slide. And it's like, well, Sotoja hits, but it's unsafe. I think EX Sotoja presently is safe. A slow attack with armor and then like a fast invincible attack perhaps would be fine. Stuff like that. Or like an attack that gets out of the way and an attack that's like a actual reversal are really good examples. I mean, it depends on what you mean by risk. I was thinking that myself. It's like, well, you know, the crush counter adds like 100 damage to the punish. And also some characters are really bad at punishing Ryu Super in general. But still, burning 3 bars for that is kind of... I don't like it. Backdash is unthrowable frame 1. It's not actually airborne frame 1, I don't think. If you get hit, you still get hit grounded for the first couple frames, and then you eventually get hit airborne. And then you get hit grounded again. It's got like all 3 stages of fucking getting smacked. But it is unthrowable frame 1. But yeah, it needs to be like, it's way too risky. Backdashing is way too risky. Backdashing is only okay against a few characters in a few scenarios, I feel. Backdashing is like a fake wake-up option. They need to buff the shit out of it. I don't want Street Fighter 4 levels of backdashing because that was really dumb. But I want like Bison. Street Fighter 4 Bison. None of his reversals were that good, but damn if he didn't have a lot of them. I didn't really feel that afraid to pressure Bison on wake up. Because the worst thing that was going to happen to me was eating an EX scissor kick, which isn't that bad. Whereas in Street Fighter 5, like, you know, there's only 1 or often 0 things to predict. That was neat. Did like no damage, but it was neat. The damage it did was important for him right now. Look at his meter. He's not going to be able to get anything like the whole rest of this round. Made me so stupid. I think that was going to chip out. It's not a crazy hard red parry for that super. The attacks are all uniformly spaced, so you can start parrying anywhere and it doesn't matter. You don't need to know which hit you're on. Compared to Chun-Li's Super 2, where there's a big gap between the 8th hit and 9th hit. So if you start red parrying in the middle, you need to account for that gap, and you might not know which one you red parried. Yeah, Third Strike had the best reversal option in the entire game. I wouldn't be ruined by that. But the problem is, right now they have a really important niche, those crush counters. There's a lot of crush counters that are just, like, you look at, like, let's take Ibuki, because she's always first in my mind. You got that towards Roundhouse, which is great in footsies, but the stand Roundhouse is really awful in footsies. You're basically never going to get that. And the returns for towards Roundhouse crush counter are not very good. Like, it's better than most counter hits, but it's not very good. Being able to combo a right air and uppercut is nice, but it doesn't really add that much damage. It adds like a nice amount, but you can already do like, you know, normal crush counters and link uppercut. I mean, normal counter hits and link uppercut for a lot of her normals. You can do like counter hit low strong into link DP, for example. And that works at a ton of ranges too. Oh, the one time she didn't jump, that was a brave fucking SPD. Anyway, Ibuki stand roundhouse in footsies would basically never see use. It would basically just die. It would cease to exist. Right now there's 2 different kinds of crush counters. Like the damage kind and the confirm kind. That's technically a third class. It's like the screen control kind, like Galback Fierce and Urian down towards Roundhouse, and I feel like there's another one still. Balrog Stand Fierce. The ones that like all the crush counter does is let you regain screen position. You don't conventionally get a combo. It's like technically you can get a combo of UV trigger, but you wouldn't. Back Fierce from Gal, you would. But when you look at his other 2 crush counters, that don't knock down. His other two non-sweep crush counters. They're so much better.
見事に回避した D5 エルダー。
D5 ターン。おお、こういうことやると危ないよ。
Balrog, Stand Fierce, you basically don't have a combo. I think even if you V-trigger that, there's no combo. Crush counters are hype. But yeah, there's certain crush counters that are just way... Like, they need to be very high risk to compensate the high reward. And then you see, like, Urian just mashing Stand Fierce and footsies. And it's just like, well, this is extremely high reward, but the risk is nothing. That's, like, already a good poke, and then if it works... Like, a good example of that being... Like, Ibuki's towards roundhouse is like that. Like, yeah, it's not super rewarding to get a crush counter. Crush counters are not hype bath. Lol. No, fuck you. You can't just decide what my fucking opinion is. Crush counters are super hype. I get excited when I see that screen shake and when I see that fucking fat hit and when I see the huge damage combo. I get excited by punish combos. Like, most crush counters work properly. Most crush counters have that appropriate ratio right now. The only ones that are really dumb are the ones that are extremely low risk, high reward. Like Urian, Stand Fierce, and Ibuki towards roundhouse. But like, if you look at like Ryu, if you look at like Stand Fierce, or like Stand roundhouse, those ones are like perfect.
確定ですか？
確定した？
微妙。
確定。あ、
確定。
SF5 is definitely not beyond saving. People used to say that shit about Street Fighter 4 vanilla.
今剣もう次のモーション入ってたと思うので確定しておりません。
おりません。
なるほど。厚刈さんを完全して否定していくバナさん。
え？
We're like barely 1 year in.
確定って言えばうまいとか知ってるとかやり込んでると思われると思ってるから。やめろってそういうこと言うの。確定してないって言った方がやめろって。うまく見られる。
The complaints for vanilla Street Fighter 5 and the complaints for vanilla Street Fighter 4 are actually very similar.
さあここで小松さんこのラウンドはしっかり。さあドライさんでもアザースゲージがあって。アザースがありますから。これはでもまだでも圏内入った。完全に圏内入った。次で落として。まあ今も多分着地にアザース狙ってますからね。
Poorly misused. I completely disagree.
アザース回してるんでブロッキングができないんですよ。そっか。
じゃあ絶対対空打てばいいんだ。
The way that fishing for crush counters, the way that like all the crush counters are on hard normal, so you can't really frame trap into crush counters without having a big gap for like any character. That's very deliberate and very good. Like if you look at like crush counters, like the fastest crush counter normals are usually like 7 frames or like 8, and those are really fast ones, like Ryu, Stand Fierce, and stuff like that. There's like almost none that are that fast, and the most plus frame normals there are in the game are like +1 or +2. So you can't have like you need a slow frame trap in order to have like a crush counter frame trap. I think that's very well designed. You need to condition the opponent to be doing a very specific kind of tech to set them up for that kind of frame trap. But I actually like Season 2 a lot. I like Season 1 a lot, but I like Season 2 a lot more. No, I think that that's one of the reasons the crush counter mechanic actually works, is that priority system. The only complaints I have is that there's too much counter-hittable stuff, and I don't just necessarily mean reversals. I like the idea of counter-hittable reversals. The problem is like throw being counter-hittable and backdash being counter-hittable. There's not a good way of defending yourself that isn't like counter-hittable. You can't decide I'm gonna do anything to avoid being crush countered and thrown. You can't preempt a throw and preempt a crush counter. There's no like universal defense against both of those, and I feel like that's kind of dumb. They could do reversed input lag, but the problem is it's already bounced around, not reduced input lag. So they would just need to speed some things up to compensate. Right now, like in season when it was 8 frames lag or whatever, Overheads had a really good success rate, and they made it like 6.5 frames or whatever, and now Overheads have an okay success rate. I've noticed that among other players. I've noticed it by myself. Like, that extra couple frames of reaction time gives you a lot more, like, capacity to block. 7 frames is pretty much unreactable anyway, just so you know. You're not really supposed to react to anything faster than like 12. Most attacks, most normals, most specials, most everything is supposed to be unreactable in, like, you know, Street Fighter. It's not like if they fucking reduced, like, input lag to 4 frames, you'd be able to block, I mean, it would be easier to block an EX tackle, but point blank it would be equally hard. It would still be very random. Far away it would be a little easier.